back on there.
Alright, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, right?
Okay.
One of my favorites recently is Otherworld.
Otherworld.
It's called Otherworld. It's this dude who finds people who want to tell him their story about the paranormal.
Okay.
And it's pretty compelling shit. But anyways, I wanted to tell you about this one because it's the scariest one, and I would suggest you listen to it.
Ooh, okay, hit me.
So in Muslim culture, they do or they don't have demons, but what they are scared of is things called jinns.
Okay.
And jinns are beings that exist in our world without us being able to see it, almost like a parallel universe. But they are smoke, and you can't see it most of the time unless they want you to see it.
So kind of ethereal, just overall. Okay.
But they exist alongside us, living normal lives, essentially. But some of them are bad, and they can do bad things, right? And it's said that the worst jinns live in bad places, like junkyards, graveyards. Like, that's where the bad jinns live.
Interesting.
Apparently. But anyways, so this guy, he's Muslim, and he goes on this podcast, and he has this experience where he is Muslim, but he's not, like, super faithful. And if you're super faithful in Islam, you're not even allowed to say the word jinn.
Really?
Yeah, it's if you say jinn,
It's like,
you're bringing it to you.
Okay, so it's a forbidden word, kind of like Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And anyways, because of this, he explains that, like, he wanted to summon a jinn. He wanted to fuck around with it because it was forbidden, and he was just like, it just attracts him to something that's forbidden and scary.
Okay, so did he believe this going into it, or was he just testing it like he didn't think that it actually existed, or he knew that it did and he just wanted to fuck with it?
That's a good question. I don't know. He never says that he didn't believe in it, and he comes from a pretty religious Muslim family, so I assume he believed in it.
Gotcha.
But anyways, he spent years trying to summon this jinn.
Oh, multiple years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And eventually, there's a bunch of crazy shit that happens. One of the things is he goes through like a week of every time he falls asleep, he goes to bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he falls asleep, he starts falling and wakes up, but it's in a dream.
He wakes up in a dream.
He wakes up in a dream, and he goes back to bed and wakes up in the dream again after falling.
So, like,
wait. So he goes to sleep, falls, wakes up, is back in his bed, goes back to sleep, falls, wakes up, goes back into sleep, falls, wakes up.
Oh, so he can't ever get, like, restful sleep.
No.
Okay.
This happens for days and days and days of just, like, not being able to have any sleep. And then, at one point he's trying to sleep, and there's, like, a jinn in his ear. He says it was like making terrorism in his ear, just like
making terrorism,
just like demonic noises in his ear. He said he felt it licking his ear.
Ooh.
And this guy is like dead serious. It's actually scary to listen to. But anyways, the real climax of this story, if you will. Wait, that was such a good pun.
After he was licking his ear, alright.
I didn't even mean it. Okay.
Sure.
He's laying in bed, and the jinn starts jacking him off.
No shot.
Shot.
No
He
pun
says
intended.
he feels two gigantic demonic hands, like violently jerking him off. Like, it's not good.
Are you
It
sure?
hurts. He says it hurts.
Oh my god.
And the reason he knows it was real is because he feels shame about it. Like he was, like, sexually assaulted.
Interesting.
And by then, he was like, I'm done with it. And he tried, like, the rest for a while to, like, get rid of this thing. And it seems to have worked.
Damn.
But that's the story of this guy and his jinn. I just figured I'd tell you to start off this episode.
That's kind of rough. I hope that guy all the peace that, he can get. I mean...
And then in the end of the episode, he was like, I don't know, I kind of want to get back into it. It's kind of fun.
He is a kinky motherfucker. Yeah, that's wild.
He's actually kind of, like, pseudo-famous, too. He's got, like, a really big Twitter
The guy
account.
who gave the story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And he's, like, a part of some sort of Hollywood writer or something like that. And he wanted to make a comedy movie about jinns, so he pitched it to apparently a very famous Muslim comedian. And the comedian was like, I'm not touching that. I don't talk about jinns.
Damn.
He was like, it's a good script, but hell no.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Anyways, jinns, pretty spooky.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but that was an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally have never had any type of experiences with, any type of ghosts or anything like that, which I really wish that I did, or I could.
I'll tell you my one experience. I call it an experience. I didn't see anything, but it did. I can't explain it.
Okay.
So, me and my girlfriend are laying in bed. We're mad at each other. Okay, so we're like arguing. And then finally we calm down. We're trying to sleep. And then all of a sudden, from the corner of my room at my dad's house, we hear a shh. Like clear as day, someone's shushing us.
Oh, shit.
And we like got up and we looked around. There's nothing there. That was it. I don't know what it was, but it sounded like something shushed us.
That's pretty creepy.
It is pretty creepy.
But nothing ever happened since.
Nope, nothing since or before, so it was probably just something stupid.
Huh. I wonder if your dad just walked past and was fucking with you guys. He heard you just arguing and he was like, shh, from right outside the door.
Maybe.
Damn.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know, I did have one time, which I don't know if this is paranormal or if this was just me getting real fucking wild in my sleep. But I did wake up with, I would say, claw marks on my back. I do remember that because it was burning when I woke up, but I didn't have the flexibility to be able to actually reach where those marks were, which I thought was kind of weird. This was...
Were you alone?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't have any... I mean, normally I sleep with animals, but at the time I didn't. And even if I did, at the time I only had 3 small chihuahuas that were maybe fucking yay big, right? You remember them. They were very small. None of the cats slept in the room either. And yeah, it was just me by myself. And I remember, from what I remember, everything was normal. Everything was fine. I just woke up in the morning and my back kind of hurt. And I remember looking in the mirror and yeah, it was just claw marks across my back. And I was like,
How many?
3.
That's demonic.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh. They could have done something else, man.
That's what Ghost Adventures say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the 3. If it's 3 marks down, 3 marks scratching, it's supposed to be demonic.
Interesting. I wonder who I pissed off in that case. But, I mean, since then, nothing's
They've
ever happened.
probably possessed you and you're just a demon now.
Oh. That must explain my sulfur smell.
Mm-hmm. When was this? When you were like
fuck.
16?
Yeah, I would say high school-ish. But nothing ever really came after that. I just kind of forgot about it because took a shower, it kind of stopped hurting, and I was like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it, right?
Exactly.
Like, well, demon scratched me. That's cool.
I remember one time as well, and this is, I don't know if this is the definition of blasphemy. Maybe not. But it was definitely something that, at this point, I wouldn't do again. I was young. I was stupid. But I did go to a church when, granted, nobody was there, and I was yelling obscenities at God, asking him to smite me. And
was I
nothing
there?
ever happened. Were you there?
I was there. It was at the church by your house at the basketball courts.
Yeah. So, I remember doing stupid shit like that and seeing if anything would end up happening.
Unless you did it more than once.
I don't think so. Looking back, I mean, I wouldn't do it again because that's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was just trying to get something to happen. Nothing ever did.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. I thought you just did that on the regular when you did it, but it was just something you remember, huh?
It just popped into my mind. Maybe that's why I had the scratches.
Maybe. It was around that time.
Yeah, who knows?
Damn, dude. He was like, I will smite your fucking ass. Come here.
Right. Damn. I remember my friend telling me about a time when apparently he was driving home. I think that... Oh, I'm going to try and remember the story correctly. It was after a family member has passed. I want to say it was like a week or so afterwards. He was driving past the cemetery that they were buried at, and he told me that he remembered feeling like this weird presence. I can't remember if he said that if he felt like it was that relative that passed or if it was something else. But he was saying as he was driving, he looked in the rearview mirror and he saw the figure of something sitting in his back seat, and he like freaked out. And when he turned around, there's nothing there.
Damn.
Right?
Fuck that. You know, that's actually scary. Is when if you're inside your car driving, and there's a ghost or a person in there with you that you don't know about. I mean, that's scary. What are you gonna do? Right. Crash the car?
Oh.
So, let me. I don't know if I should tell this story because the older I get, the more I just feel bad about my dad for it. But back in the day, after my mom left, right, he was in a very stressful time. Now having to take care of 3 kids on his own. But anyways, we lived in a haunted house at this point. I don't know if I ever told you about this.
Maybe.
Maybe. So my dad would see a little girl sometimes, given he was under so much stress, it could be just his own mind turning on itself. But he would see a little girl sometimes. There was one story where, back when we used CDs, back in the day, he lost his favorite CD, and he was like yelling, he was all, "Give me back my CD," to the ghosts. And like the next day it was where it was supposed to be.
Oh shit.
And then that was the house I also had sleep paralysis in.
Ooh, did you see that, man?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay, I'll tell this story. So me and Taylor, my older sister, are playing the SpongeBob game on the original Xbox. Dope ass game. And I was sick at the time, which I think attributes to my sleep paralysis, but I was sick and I was sleeping. You know, like when you're short enough that you can like lay on the couch and the coffee table and like your whole body is laying down. So I was doing that, and I fell asleep and I woke up, and I was in sleep paralysis and I couldn't move, and I look over, somehow I got enough strength to like turn my head over to the screen door that was right there, and there was just this gigantic black figure looking in through the screen door.
That is terrifying.
Yes. And so I start screaming, I get out of it, Taylor calls my dad home. And this is the punchline of the story because it's hilarious. He comes home, and he stands outside, and he was like, "Well, was it right here, Gage?" And I was like, "Yeah, but he was taller than you." Nobody's taller than my dad.
Roasted. His dad's 6'8" for reference.
So my dad was like, "No, he wasn't. There's nobody here."
No shot. You're fucking high off your ass.
Yeah, and I grew up to realize that was sleep paralysis, but for a long time, I thought I saw a fucking ghost.
Seriously, that would be mortifying.
Yeah.
Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Traumatizing?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that would be traumatizing as a little kid. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was our kind of haunted house. There was other things that happened too. Oh, one time that I can fucking verify, when my mom was still there too. Actually, we were sitting at the table eating dinner, and we had this giant stereo set up. You know, one of the stand-up ones that are this big.
The old school ones.
It's got a knob like that fat that you could turn up.
Yeah, those are the good ones.
And we're sitting there like listening to the radio as we eat, and all of a sudden the radio just goes like all the way up.
Just cranks all the way up on its own?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
And I remember because I was eating and I fell back in my chair. I was like,
oh my god. Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, it was wild. I don't know what happened there. That definitely happened, though.
And they just walked back over and turned it right back down, no problems?
Yeah, no problems.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's super strange.
Yeah, so I guess I can verify something happened. I don't know. Obviously, it could just be an electronic glitch, but...
I mean, well, that's kind of what I was thinking, but if you were able to just go and, turn it right back down, then it makes it seem like physically the knob got turned.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Strange.
Very strange.
Let me think. I remember hearing a story. This was of somebody that I used to know. They told me that when they were a bit younger, this was back when, oh god, what was this? I want to say the 80s, something like that. Maybe it was the early 90s. They, long story short, got really high on acid in a forest with her friends.
Uh-huh.
And they got a little bit too messed up where they couldn't go and drive back or anything like that. So they had to make a call of shame where they called one of their parents. Somebody came to pick them up. And this is where it kind of got a little weird. Was the story that I was told was this person heard something in the forest that they were in. Granted, keep in mind, they were fucking high on either acid or LSD. Mm-hmm. And they got in the car and they were like, okay, it's fine. I'm just kind of high right now. This is in like the middle of the night too. Mm-hmm. So they start driving home. And apparently in the middle of the road, somebody just decided to appear. It looked like a girl who was murdered. And they wanted to scream, like, stop, you're gonna hit this person. But then they were like, oh, fuck, I'm just really high right now, I think. Mm-hmm. So they kept driving. And she was like, I really felt like I should have yelled. I could have swore that we were going to end up hitting somebody. And she was like, okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. They keep driving. And then she looks over when they stopped at, like, I think she said a stop sign or something like that. And the person was over there to the right when she looked out the fucking window. And I was like, oh my God, that's fucking creepy.
That is so spooky.
After that seemed to have been the end of it. They ended up getting home. They got done with their drug trip. And then I don't know what happened with the rest of that. However, that would be terrifying to be on a fucking acid trip and seeing essentially a dead person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That is spooky.
Yeah. That would not make for a fun trip for me.
No. That is real spooky.
Yeah. Unfortunately, don't have anything, like I said, of my own experiences. At least not that I remember. Maybe I did and I repressed them. So.
Yeah, scratch mark is kind of spooky.
Yeah, it is what it is. Never had an experience with a Hat Man, though. I've always wanted to. Yeah, or like sleep paralysis or anything like that.
You've never had sleep paralysis?
Never been that lucky.
Never. Mm-mm. You know, it's actually not that common.
Yeah?
It's like half of all people only get sleep paralysis.
I've actively tried.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So it kind of goes into... There's a little while that I was trying to become, I guess, a bit more spiritual. And there's some practices that you can do as far as when you're falling asleep for going into... I guess, deeper states of meditation and things like that. But part of it is being able to still be wakeful as far as when you're falling asleep, or being able to make that transition into essentially you're awake, you know you're falling asleep, and you make an active transition into your dreams.
Okay.
Okay, the recording is still going. And you make that active transition kind of over into your dreams. And I tried that for months with no success. And I heard that was where a lot of people ended up stopping with it, though, because they would end up hitting the point of sleep paralysis. And they would start seeing what they would just describe as like demons in their sleep. And I'm like, fucking give that to me. Let me piss myself. Let me see something. I want to be able to believe it.
Alright, on the topic of sleep paralysis, stop me if I've told you this before.
Okay.
There's a documentary...
Stop.
Fucker. There's a documentary out there called, I think it's just called Nightmare or something. But it's about people who have sleep paralysis literally every fucking night. Every night, or some of them like 3 or 4 times a week.
My question at that point is, would you end up just kind of getting used to it? No? Just every night, just constant terror?
So there was this one guy, which I think is pretty... I don't know what kind of emotion it gives me, but it gives me one. So this guy, he realized that if he watches TV while he sleeps, his sleep paralysis goes away. So he has one TV playing. Eventually, his sleep paralysis comes back, so he puts on 2 TVs. Comes back after like a week. He's eventually got like 7 TVs running in his room to try and stop sleep paralysis, but what ended up happening was it made it stronger. So now, there's literally nothing you can do to avoid it.
Dude, that sucks.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, the story I wanted to tell you, which I thought I told you before, so stop me if I have.
Okay.
But one of the guys who gets sleep paralysis every day was at a sleepover with his friends. No? Doesn't ring a bell?
No.
Okay, so he was
Keep in mind, I do have the memory of a goldfish, so...
He was at a sleepover with his friends, and... the lady sleeping next to him was also having sleep paralysis as he was at the same time. So he's having sleep paralysis.
Romantic.
I know. Of a demon saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. Just standing over him saying that over and over and over and over again. Okay? And the girl next to him all of a sudden wakes up screaming, and she kind of knocks him out of his sleep paralysis, right?
Okay.
And she tells him what she saw was a black cat sitting on top of his chest staring at him.
Saying, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you.
No, not saying anything, but just staring at him. What are the odds that happens?
That's...
the whole point of that documentary is that we really don't know what sleep paralysis is.
Yeah.
We know, like, what causes it. It's like REM sleep while you're awake or some sort of weird thing like that. But we don't know why it's always scary. And we don't know why some people get it every single day.
That... What you were just telling me, though, about essentially kind of like a shared sleep paralysis, it reminds me a little bit of, like, shared fucking, I don't know, like DMT trips.
Oh.
How they're like the DMT elves that everybody sees if they take it at the same time, or people can see. So it leads into the theory of like overlapping universes, I feel like. Because I mean, fuck, if people are seeing it, they're just entering or seeing into like maybe a different type of existence that
Maybe
we're
the
sharing.
jinns.
Could be. Right? That
Loop around.
who knows?
Callback. Throwback.
Right.
Anyways, one of the ladies in this documentary turned to God completely.
Turn to God. Okay.
Became like a very religious.
Super devout Christian.
And it ended her sleep paralysis that she had every day.
Good for her.
Yeah.
It could be just peace of mind. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a placebo effect, but I mean, in a sense, it could be just mentally having something to attach to and be able to give yourself into, to be able to tell yourself everything's going to be okay. It may have been enough for her to be able to calm whatever anxieties that would trigger that sleep paralysis. Or maybe it is God, right? Who knows? But
Who knows?
regardless, that's really cool. I mean, good for her.
Yeah. And then, like, man, some of these poor guys, dude, like their first memories are, like, waking up as, like, a 4-year-old into sleep paralysis.
Dude, that is rough.
That is so rough, right?
God, their therapist must be making bank.
It's brutal. Sleep paralysis is cool. It's definitely a good story to tell once it's over, but having it every day...
Like
that's,
once in a blue moon type
Yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
you could be like, oh, yeah, I saw the Hat Man.
Yeah.
Right, but no, every single night, that seems like it would be a waking hell.
Yeah.
I
I talked about, you know who I told that recently to was my sister, not you. But anyways, we were talking about sleep paralysis when my sister was here, and her and my brother have both had sleep paralysis where they see a witch staring at them.
Interesting.
That's pretty spooky.
Huh.
Like it didn't look like a stereotypical witch, they just like knew it was a witch. It just
Yeah.
looked like a really decrepit old woman staring at them.
I was going to say, like, the essence of a witch. Huh.
Gavin says he saw it like crawling out from under his bed or under his couch at one point. Dude, that's
Dude,
terrifying.
that's naughty.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was little, something I was always afraid of is if I had a limb, like, dangling off the bed, that something was going to grab it and, like, fucking drag me. So if I had sleep paralysis and a limb hanging off the bed, that would not be a fun
Oh
combo.
god, no.
Yeah. I can't move. I just know it's dangling there like a fucking hook in the water. Just waiting for something to bite. Ugh. Yeah.
Whew.
I mean, I guess knock on wood. I don't end up having it, but
For reals.
shit.
I mean, I think for children it's worse because you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right, at least as an adult, you can kind of compartmentalize a little bit better.
At the time, it's still going to scare you because, like, part of the sleep paralysis is that you just wake up terrified. You don't even see it at first. It's just you're awake, you look around, you're already terrified, and then you see the thing, like, coming towards you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like to think, and maybe this is just my ego talking, but I like to think that I would do all right with it because I've had a few bad psychedelic trips, and just knowing that it's gonna be okay because there isn't a physical presence that's there to, like, actually harm me. It's just projections in my mind, essentially. Like, it's very anxiety inducing still, but just knowing, hey, take a few deep breaths, it's gonna be all right. I think I might be able to get through it. Granted, I don't fucking know. I've never had it.
I'm sure you could.
I'm
sure you could. Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. You could probably understand sleep paralysis while you're in it.
Yeah. On the same, or on a similar vein, I should say, have you ever had lucid dreams?
Never.
Oh, yeah, I haven't either. I've always wanted to.
Yeah, me too. That'd be
But
awesome.
never been able to. I thought that it was so fucking cool because, I mean, like, if you could have a lucid dream, you could essentially double the amount of time that you have. I shouldn't say double. You can get a lot of extra time in, though. Like, all that time when you're sleeping, if you can just go into sleep, wake up, and be like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to fly around today.
Yeah.
Why not? And then you can just go and start fucking flying and doing whatever the fuck you want. That sounds awesome.
I wonder what it's like.
Right?
I wonder if you wake up still only remembering like half of it, and then you go out through the day and it's almost completely gone in your mind.
I'm sure that sometimes it happens, but if it's strong enough, you might be able to kind of remember it. I know I've had some fucked up dreams that will just kind of sit with me, and I'm like, I remember it months later, and I'm like, oh yeah, that fucking shook me.
I told you about my last fucked up one.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be pretty fucked.
I recently had a dream, which it wasn't something that like shook me, I guess, but it was just interesting. I woke up and I was like, that was strange. It was actually, I don't think it was last night. I think it was the night before, but it was where I was sitting in actually my workout bench that's just right over there, and somebody was holding me down, and with a pair of pliers they ripped out one of my teeth. And I was like, ooh, but I felt it like getting pulled out while it was happening. And I think I've told you, I have kind of a disdain towards dentists because I have not had great experiences. Quick recap, very first cavity I ever had, I didn't know that I was supposed to get numbed up, and my dentist forgot. So what happened was they just started drilling into my tooth like down to the root, and it was so fucking painful. I dug into my arm until I was bleeding. And when I started to actually physically bleed, they stopped and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was shaking and I was like, "This is so unbearably painful." And they just went white. And then they were like, "Oh, here, let me help you with that." And then they fucking jammed me up with the actual like Novocaine. And then it was still painful because they didn't give me enough. But it was more bearable than having just bare fucking roots being drilled into.
Dude, you should have sued them so bad.
Had no clue that, I could have even done that. But yeah, no, definitely a malpractice suit. But that's what I get for going to a dentist right next to 7-Eleven. So, I mean... Yeah, so, U.S. healthcare, everybody. I'm sorry, it was Taco Bell, actually. Not like that makes it any better.
I know the place.
Yeah, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. But,
Taco Bell.
Oof. Anyway, disdain towards dentists. I've had one good experience where I told the dude that story. He was very helpful. He was great. Dude down at Yuba City who pulled my wisdom teeth out. Phenomenal guy. Anyway. So, not a big fan of dentists overall, though. And getting my tooth pulled out in my dream when I woke up, it felt really weird because it was just an exact tooth. I remember, like, pushing my tongue in the dream, pushing my tongue to, like, the socket where my tooth was, and, like, I could feel the textures of it not being there. So, it was just really weird. I woke up, I checked, I was like, oh, I still have my tooth. All right, we're fine. But yeah, it was just really weird being held down and having pliers fucking ripping out a tooth in my dream.
Sometimes I'll have a dream where I have pain on somewhere in my body. And I wake up like, why was my body hurting? Because your tooth probably hurt that night for some weird reason.
Could be.
And so you dreamed it was being ripped out, and then like sometimes my arm will hurt when I wake up, and I'm like, oh, I didn't lose an arm. My arm just hurts. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the weirdest dream I've ever had was one where, I guess, have you ever died in one of your dreams? No? So for some reason, I have died in multiple of my dreams, but the weirdest one was where I was in, like, almost a desert setting. I got captured by fucking someone. I don't know. I'm just gonna say the Taliban or something like that. It was real fucking weird. I had a bag over my head, and I got decapitated. It was in one single swing, just right off. And when that happened, it wasn't pain or anything like that, but my body just shot up out of itself, and I was looking down on the situation. I could see my decapitated body, and I was just floating right above it. And I was just looking down in my dream, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And that was the dream. And then I woke up, and I was like, okay, that's gonna take a minute to shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really understood that dream, but that was probably my weirdest one.
How often do you have good dreams?
Not very.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, granted... What's your definition of a good dream? I guess...
Well, you've had a dream before where when you woke up, you were like, fuck, I wish I didn't wake up.
Yeah, that would be maybe once every few years.
Yeah.
I would say a good dream for me is just one that doesn't feel like emotionally draining when I wake up. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I don't already feel like pre-taxed for my day. So...
You already got your emotional, like... trauma for the day.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, guess what, fucker? You haven't even had your coffee yet. Get up.
Good morning, you bitch.
Yep, fucking. Yeah. Now, I think I've had a handful of weird dreams lately, but that's also because I've stopped smoking weed. So, like, the transitions between me getting back to smoking and stop smoking, there's just really wonky dream periods.
Yeah, for some reason, if I have a beer at night, I have crazy dreams.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if it's because I'm drunk or if it's beer in particular, but I get crazy dreams. And that's a little sneak peek. We're about to get drunk soon on cam. And,
It's gonna be a regretful time.
yeah. You might want to watch it.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that gives me dreams for some reason.
Any particular type of beer, or is it just any in general?
Any beer.
Maybe I'll have to give that a try. See if I get some wonky dreams.
Just drink one beer, like a light beer even, maybe.
Yeah. I wonder, would it also work with just like a shot of vodka?
I don't know. I don't usually take shots. Forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck.
I was gonna say I am a proponent of hard liquor. I don't like all the volume of beer. I'd much rather just get drunk.
You see, I never got drunk off of beer before. I just
Really?
like the taste.
Oh, that's the worst type of drinker.
Dude, it's so good. Worst type of drinker.
Oh, dude, we'll have to break out the beer bong.
Shit. That's
What?
demonetized right there.
A beer bong, really?
Yeah, do you have one?
I can make one. They're not hard. It's a tube and a fucking spout, dude, or a funnel.
Do you have those?
I'm sure I can find them. We're in a town where meth labs are abundant, man.
True.
Just go down the street, knock on a couple doors, and I'll have it within 5 minutes. Like,
You got a tube and a funnel? Yeah, bro.
yeah, dude.
Covered in meth dust.
I told you the other day when I was leaving my house, there was a fucking chick who I'm sure she was cracked out, but just fucking full nude. Like, yeah, titties hanging out and everything. She was just walking around, waving her arms in the air, and I was like, ooh, that's our town for you.
Yeah.
So,
Just another Tuesday.
another Tuesday. Yeah. Real cashy.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a little off topic, though,
Yeah,
with the
we should
video.
probably wrap it up. That was just a discussion video, you know.
Yeah.
We kind of ran out of ideas. The Reddit things don't seem to be working very well. If you have a suggestion for Reddit, please shoot us a comment.
Or anything you would just like to hear our dumb fucking opinions on. I mean, why
True.
not? Yeah.
We have a lot to say about things we know nothing about.
Exactly. Dude, that should be our slogan.
It should be. That's like every white guy ever, though.
I mean, that's too real, man.
Sorry.
You're
All right.
fine.
See you guys next time.
Take care, guys. Bye.